We're the Gridiron Girls. You're in tune with the game.
Karma is the Gridiron Girls, coming straight into your home. Hello again, everybody. I'm Karleigh Chardonnay Webb.
Ich bin Chelsea Poe.
And I'm Shauna Atkinson.
And we're the Gridiron Girls podcast. Can you believe it? We've done a dozen shows now. A dozen.
Crazy.
And it's been a beautiful dozen. It's been a great time. And we welcome all of you here. And it's a big week. Not only another week of football ahead, but also it is Trans Awareness Week. And just for the occasion right now, I mean, I want to be aware it's Trans Awareness Week. So rocking the cat ears. And I just ordered a blahage. Yes, I know. Basic trans girl. I know. But according to Chelsea and Shauna, it's on brand. It's on brand? Is it on brand?
I mean,
I
feel like anything basic
also...
trans girl for you.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's your vibe.
Yeah, programmer socks, the cat ears, the blahage. And you know what? You rock it. You look good in it. Good for you. Like, that is what, like... And, like, I'm not exactly here to throw stones at blahage houses. Because, like, it's not like I don't own one. Because I absolutely do. Like...
I've literally never heard of this until...
Yeah, okay, so... Yeah, that's our breaking news update, is that we somehow got Chelsea, who's been on the internet in a very significant way, has managed to avoid the corner of the internet that features the stuffed IKEA shark, which is just fascinating.
Mushy shark.
How have you not heard that? You are in many queer and trans circles. It is how is this part of pop culture, trans minutia escaped you?
Maybe I'm like secretly cis this whole time, and I'm the only one who doesn't realize it. I've thought about that.
Are you actually coming out as a cissexual? Is this the...
I don't know. It's very straight. I feel like we've had a few things, especially with like nerdy trans girl stuff, where you like bring something up. I'm like, what is that? I have no idea.
That is true. There is something else that I'm trying to think of that you were like, I was very surprised that you'd never heard of it.
It was like some video game.
Oh, was it like the Fallout New Vegas, maybe? Or
oh no, I know that only because of my old roommate who was a trans woman.
You know, and good for your former roommate for showing you the culture spots of the cultural touchstones, if you will, of trans. But again, but it also goes to show that it's not I think there's this like sense online that like there's like a certain way to be a trans woman and a trans girl and all of that, and I appreciate that you're just like, no, I'm just a sports nerd. Like, I think it's like,
yeah, like
you're not.
I don't know
nerdy. You're very.
I don't know if it's like
transition.
Football. I don't know if it's like transitioning like very early and like having normal college years, quote unquote. But like, there's just certain things I miss, or I'm just like, why are you saying that? The pickle shit. I hate the pickle discourse. I hate that shit.
You
hate because
it's not real. I don't
crave
real. Pickles. I don't know what you guys are saying.
It's very real. Do you not like salt? Do you not like the like?
It's fine, but like,
have you not had
I don't associate that with anything. Like, do you know like the white trans girl thing? I've only seen white trans women say.
Wait a minute, though.
Yes, there.
Wait a minute. What is the white trans girl thing? What is
about
that?
Being like? I started taking estrogen, and then I started eating pickles, and it's like. I don't think that's real. I think you're just making shit up.
Well, I always loved pickles, first of all, but there's absolutely again, correlation does not imply causation. Thank you, my one semester of law school. But with that being said, there is something because of the commonly taken medication spironolactone tends to make you, I think it's more receptive to like salt and like you're more...
Yeah, your salt intake does definitely increase.
Exactly. And so it's like just a like part and parcel part of that. And I think it's a way of like connecting of like, oh, and now like pickles have become this like as a very good source of salt and such. You know, like I always think it's funny because pickles are such a big part of dodgeball community. Like there's like there'll be like 4 or 5 pickle jars hanging out on the sidelines because a lot of people, especially the women, will drink it for for helping with like cramping and stuff. Or
and it's a good
all the
anti-cramping
electrolytes.
defense.
Yeah, it's the electrolytes. And so I'm like, and again, this is why trans women belong in sport. There's already pickles there. But see, that's going back to your joke of like where these things it all comes.
No, Sean, speaking of sports.
See this? I might just use this whole time. You know, we don't know. We need to.
Sean, speaking of sports,
and the answer is of course yes, because there's no part that's the right way to be a trans woman, and like that's where like I love like. And it's fun to embrace those parts of the culture. And like, I think when it can give you a shared sense of community of like, oh, hey, we like this thing. Like, like on my water bottle here is my little like Blahaj Blast. But like,
that Blahaj Blast is going to get a little bit of work this week. Foam Dodgeball Championship this week, Shauna.
Exactly.
How are you going to do?
I'm going to be, when this airs, I'm going to be in Dallas for the weekend. I'm excited to play with a new team called, their name is Twisted. They did really great last season. It's a lot of free agents, I think, mostly are playing together, but like, I'm excited. It's going to be, there's a lot of really great teams, and so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, that left hand is definitely an easel.
What'd you say, Chelsea?
Is it a Juggalo team, like Twisted?
No, it's not a Juggalo team, actually. I don't know. I don't want to speak for anyone on the team because to each their own, but I don't believe there are any known.
Okay.
It's actually, that's where sports going to go, is we're going to look for both trans women and Juggalos. We're going to really, like, those are the ones that you got to be careful.
We never talk about Juggalos in sports.
And I think it's about time we have that conversation. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. Now, one thing, you know what? Something else that's news this week, and I want to give this what it deserves, because it was more than a decade ago when a young kid from Michigan went out west, found her fortune, and everything has come up big for her since.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
kid. And that kid is right. And that youngster from Michigan is right here with us. Chelsea, your 19th AVN nomination. Congratulations.
Thank you. So another thing I realized is it was actually on my 12-year anniversary of my first camp session. So to wake up to that in Amsterdam, both those things in the first 30 minutes, so amazing. Just being here, I've met with sex workers who are running for parliament, who are on city council, doing so many amazing things, and being able to represent that as a Dutch American person at AVN for the last decade. It's just been so important, and I'm really excited. We're sadly missing Shauna and I are missing each other by 2 weeks again in Vegas.
I was just gonna say, I'm really just we're going to it's going to overlap in a way that works for both of us, that we can meet midway through the week or something. It's going to happen.
Porn stars. If you have porn stars and dodgeball in the same place at the same time, the universe will just implode.
I think that sounds like a recipe for a lot of fun. I think that'd be a very heavy drinking crowd if I had to guess.
So did I hear that right? Porn stars and dodgeball. Now there's a movie in that.
Oh, I'm sure. If no one did a dodgeball parody,
let's not forget the dodgeball movie. They do show up to their first match wearing a full-on kink ensemble because they humorously switched it with the kink convention that was also in Vegas that weekend. So it adds.
Oh my god, I forget that's in Vegas. Does that make it a bigger deal?
Yeah. I think clearly it's based on, it was a past event writing the future of when we eventually cross paths at.
Well, I'll tell you what, when that happens, Shar Sports will be there. We'll put on Shar Sports 8, the Ocho. We will, but
I feel like we should at least get Shar Sports 3. We're not big.
Yeah.
I'd like to think.
Also, AVN's on Showtime, so I'm saying you better come to them with a good offer. So
we stream on Twitch.
Well, actually, everything is Network 1 in the Shar Networks family. So that would be Shar Porn 1, Shar Skin 1, Shar Fetish 1, something. but we'll figure that out. But news of the week. Karma is that guy on the Chiefs.
Karma is the guy on the Chiefs.
Karma is that guy for my Cleveland Browns this week, too, is the Deshaun Watson season-ending injury news today came out.
Oh, that's great to hear. It's great to see.
Yeah, so now it's the Dorian Thompson-Robinson show part 2 again as well.
Yeah, but you know something? You don't need Deshaun.
We absolutely need
without
Deshaun.
him.
You're
in the playoff hunt without him.
I don't know. It's going to be a really... I'm not saying we can't win, because, we absolutely can win without a good quarterback. Take a look at the team we're playing this week, the Steelers, for instance. But
okay. See, you're getting like Kirby right now.
I was really pleased with that one. Not gonna lie.
But all I could say about what happened in Buenos Aires. If you had any doubts, now you know. Number one, and number two, if you have a chance, check out the Kelsey's podcast. This week, Jason just went there.
Trev, we got to talk about it.
You always start this with, we got to talk about it.
Well, you never want to talk about it.
Did it smooth Mike Wallace style too. Went there.
How does it feel to officially be the guy on the Chiefs?
You mean Karma?
Karma, that's right.
Yeah, no, I had no clue that, I might have had a little bit of a clue, but definitely when I heard it come out of her mouth, still shocked me.
And I'm just going to say it. I know I'm here for it. And apparently the NFL's here for it too. Lean into it. This is the NFL's this is Taylor's version of the NFL. This is the NFL's era.
This is a huge week because it's her hometown team is playing the Chiefs.
Wait,
she
openly. What's her hometown team? I don't know Taylor Swift.
Philly.
Okay.
Philly.
Oh,
she has a song where she talks about having an Eagles jacket, and then when she played the link, she was explicitly like, it was a Philadelphia Eagles jacket, not the Eagles, the band. And everyone was like, "Oh my god!"
No,
and
question
now
is,
her boyfriend's playing them on Monday
here's
Night
the question:
Football.
When is she at is she at that game? She's at that game?
Definitely. He just went to Argentina for her. She's gonna go to the game.
I know bye weeks are what. I mean that was the first thing, bye week. But number one,
honestly, shocking though. Honestly, shocking that he flew all the way down there on a bye week. I'm kind of surprised, honestly.
But that just shows that, if you had any doubts on how it was real, on if it's real or not, looks real. Also,
I think that's a great point, that it's finally okay, they're actually doing this and they're obviously having fun, because frankly, if you're superstars in your respective media, why not? Why not own it? Why not have
Did you see her running to him after the stage where she ran to him and they start making out?
Oh yeah, we're running that video right there. We're running that now. We're running that. Oh yes.
This is not something I thought when we started this podcast of we're going to talk about queer football. Be well, half the year is just going to be Taylor Swift.
Hey, it's her world. It's her world right now. And
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. And just note one thing. Travis Kelce is not a quarterback.
Nope.
This is normally
from Cleveland Heights.
Yeah, but this is normally quarterback territory.
That's true.
This is normally quarterback territory. He's the tight end. No, Grant, best tight end in the game.
Mm-hmm. And a superstar personality who was on SNL in a way that
hosted SNL. He did good.
And he did good. Absolutely. He's very funny in his own way of you can tell why he's probably a very popular I'm absolutely not surprised that he ended up with Taylor Swift. He's I saw the picture of him and his brother from when they were in college together, and I was like, we'd love a good
that one.
Yeah, it was such a great glow up for both of them. Yeah. I appreciate it.
The tweet that's been going around with those two back when they were at Cincinnati in college. Yeah. I mean, now one thing, another reason why it's going to be a big week for Chelsea, besides the AVN nomination.
Yes.
Formula One returns to your favorite town, and It looks like, and a Dutch driver's going to win the thing.
The Dutch driver's going to win, but please do not call Vegas my favorite town. Wow.
It's not your favorite town.
No, I'm in my favorite town right now. I'm in Amsterdam.
How about
this is the best place in the world.
Favorite town in the United States?
Favorite town in Nevada.
Okay, that worked. And
wow, then you're really going out on a limb there. Breaking news, folks. Chelsea prefers Las Vegas to Reno. Like,
I'm sorry, Reno.
And also,
Reno will be writing letters.
leading us out last week, NWSL championship game. By the way, congratulations, NWSL, on a $60 million a year television deal for the next 4 years. Congratulations. It's so needed. That is huge. It is needed. But how about Ali Krieger getting the glow up?
Speaking of very interesting, like, extracurricular sports drama, all the
internal drama, but she's got the ring. But you know what? She replaced the wedding ring with the championship ring. I'll take that. I'll take it.
You could absolutely do worse. Like,
now, when we come back to the Gridiron Girls, we're going to take a look at the NFL, including the NFL GBTQIA and the Gridiron Girls Commander-in-Chief Trophy. It came down to one play, and after further review, I'm Karleigh, she's Chelsea, she's Shauna. We're the Gridiron Girls. Stay with us. Are you looking to be a part of this picture? Are you looking to take the handoff, catch the pass, break free? Are you looking to make a play on the ball and take it all the way back to the house? Are you looking for a team? Are you looking for a sisterhood? If you're looking for that, Reapers Women's Football is looking for you. And we have a tryout camp coming up. Saturday, November 18th, 10 a.m., Rogers Park in the Perry Turf Field, 100 Memorial Drive, Danbury, Connecticut. If you're 16 or older, whether you've played before or have never played before, it doesn't matter. We're looking for you to be a part of us and join us for the 2024 season. Reapers Women's Football. It's not just football, it's family. And welcome back to the Gridiron Girls. Karleigh Chardonnay-Webb, Chelsea Poe, Shauna Atkinson, and then the NFL GBTQIA. I'm going to say it. Today, the Fighting Cat Girls are officially going to appeal the decision from this past week because we were able to get Steve Wilkes, free agent from Denver, to kick for us, plus the Bills defense. At the end of that game, when the clocks went 0, we were winning 124.88 to 124.26. And then after further review, we lose 2 points. And that gains Shasha Pride the Gridiron Girls Commander-in-Chief Trophy. We was robbed.
I'm not meeting Biden. I'm just going to clear that up. I'm not going to do that. No, hard pass. But how did that happen? Because honestly, I looked at my phone in the morning and I saw that you were like messaging that you won, and I like went through my day. I'm like, oh, well, my season's over. Whatever. I guess we might all three-way tie for like our little inter-show rivalry.
No, it would have gone to point. It would have gone to point differential, which still probably would have given it to you.
No, I think I have the point differential, but either way.
You're in a way better position now. I left my team 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, figure it out.
Yeah, but still, I am finding it hard to believe. I'm going to just say it. We was robbed. I'm going to say it. I feel a little bit robbed. The last time someone robbed me like that, they were wearing a mask. I mean, let's get real about this. This is just, whoa. But at the same time, this is just how it's been in fantasy football this season. That's just how it's been.
It's true.
Yeah, it's crazy. I really
accepted
losing.
I was and I was like, I don't want to say like, I was like, I root for both of you because you're both my friends, but I know like Karleigh's had a really rough season. I was like really excited that you got this win and like a very important matchup, and it was such a close like comeback victory too. And I was like, I thought it was great. And then
no, I'm done with AFC. I'm telling you right now, I'm done with AFC North quarterbacks because they both Sam. I have Sam Howell on the bench getting 25 points.
Oh.
Joe Burrow,
so bad when you
Burrow's
see
2
on your
interceptions
bench.
cost us a win. Sam Howell had a clean game. And look how much 122-80. I lost 2 points off of interceptions and nonsense. The Bills
look
defense.
At CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb.
Crazy.
But also on the other side, Brandon Cooks. See, that was the thing that was scaring me during that Dallas game because every time CD made a play, Brandon made a play. I was like, God dang it, that's helping Sasha out. Come on, help me out here.
Yeah, honestly,
help me out here, Dak.
Being only 7 points away from CeeDee Lamb really helped Sasha Great Pride stay in there. Oh, what a close game. What an absolutely close game. And now, like, Chelsea's still alive in the standings, too, because that was a big game for her.
Yes, you are. You are still very much alive in the standings right now. You are still alive.
You're
for a playoff spot.
You're only 2 games.
My team's like Michigan right now. My team's Michigan right now. They don't have a head coach. They don't know if that's going to happen again. There's just a lot up in the air.
We're going to talk about that because I was watching that game live and I absolutely saw the tears start rolling and was like, what the fuck? But
yeah, I hear you. I mean, I am hearing you, but before I do want to throw.
Yeah, he's gonna rise again. That's why. He's not dead if we believe it.
The resurrection of Jim Harbaugh. But on the other side, I mean, we had the rivalry within the podcast last week, and there was a certain family feud.
There was
a family feud going on.
A family feud where my wonderful, amazing girlfriend Kelly made me watch a lot of very bad football all weekend.
Wow, because so close.
It was it was very close. Because going into Monday's matchup, she had Cortland's son versus my Javonte Williams. And at one point, she pulled in within one singular point. I never went behind. But then a late touchdown by Javonte Williams sealed it, and unfortunately, her 6-game win streak was snapped, and I'm now on a 4-game win streak, which is really exciting because my team was so bad. I was 1-5.
You have a chance.
I was 1-5, and now I'm fought my way back to 500. You know what? Whatever happens this season, I feel really good about that. Like my team started off really slow, but honestly. Players like Javonte Williams and Joe Mixon has kind of paid off.
And Jahmyr Gibbs continues to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean,
well, and I think that's why he shows why I spent an early round draft pick on him because I really thought that he had a lot of talent and was going to be a great player this year.
Another thing is Baker Mayfield. You stayed with Baker Mayfield, and Baker kind of paid off.
He did. No, and Jared Goff was 4 points higher, but honestly, all 3 of my quarterbacks were good options. Kyler Murray came back and put in 17 points in his debut. Fucking, I'll take it. I really like it. Now, this week, we have I think this is the last of our Gridiron girls matchups is I play the Chardonnay Fighting Cat Girls.
Oh, God. Okay.
Early projections have me up by 14 points, but we'll see.
So, in other words, up by 14. Well, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee you one thing. Kenny Pickett will not start.
I think.
And then
start him.
And then watch Kenny Pickett become Terry Bradshaw.
If that happens against the Browns,
and watch Kenny Pickett become Terry Bradshaw.
And I think that game is going to be a much different affair now that, God, I have seen so many rookie quarterbacks get thrown to the wolves of the AFC North. How many people, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson's no different. His 2 starts this year so far will come against the Ravens and then the Steelers. Fuck, that sucks. That's a tall order for anybody, but especially in this kind of interdivision rivalry,
and
it's going to take a lot.
And also, here's the thing: with both teams still in the playoffs, and that's another thing. There's a lot of teams. Usually, November is the time when you cut out the fish and the suckers, and right now, it's still a field. And
it absolutely is.
It's still a question of who's going to make the playoff, who's going to get there, and another thing to look at is, of course, we talked about it earlier, but we might as well just get right in it. The game of the week is Monday night. And it's not just because a certain superstar is going to be there wearing number 87.
I mean, also that, though.
Well,
wait, which one, Taylor Swift or Kelsey?
Both.
Travis Kelce is a superstar compared to her. Let's be honest, though.
Well, in the NFL world, Travis Kelce is absolutely a superstar.
But the thing is, though, this game now, I mean, at the beginning of the year, we were talking about that Eagles 49ers game coming up in December. And now that game has kind of lost a lot of luster because you look at two teams that I saw getting deep in this thing, the 49ers and the Bills, have both collapsed.
Yeah, hard to believe the Bills are 5-5. They just fired former University of Miami quarterback Ken Dorsey as offensive coordinator, which I think is remember those teams? Remember those University of Miami Hurricane teams that Ken Dorsey?
Yeah, they were so good.
They were.
I remember playing the game with friends, and if someone's Miami, you'd be like, "You can't. That's cheating."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That college football 2004. It
was the same way with the Randy Moss Patriots. Those were always like, really, you're going to be the fucking Patriots? All right.
Or Atlanta with Vic in Madden 2008.
That's why I got really good playing as the formerly San Diego Superchargers, because I loved the LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, Vincent Jackson era. Like, I always thought that was a really fun Madden team to play as. And so, like, I actually remembered one time me and two of my friends, we all drove for a Madden tournament because we were those video game nerds.
Wow.
And I was the only one of us to actually make it to like the tournament, and I won a game. And I was very it was absolutely an upset because I'm not that good at Madden. Like you play, I'm fine enough, but like playing against somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Yeah, because you see Chelsea kind of cheats. She plays Madden like it's EA college football.
Yeah, you're only supposed to run the triple option. I only run offenses that were popular in the 1930s. Like, not intended.
But just quick note on the Monday night game. Who you got? I'll tell you what. I think it's at home. It's at Arrowhead. Swifties are there. Chiefs 30-27.
Yeah, Chiefs are going to win. I think it's going to be like the most watched game of the year so far.
I'm going to be the dissent here. I'm going to go with the Eagles. I think that they're a better overall team than the Chiefs. And frankly, I think they have the offensive power through their wide receiver core and Jalen Hurts. I'm going to give it to the Eagles.
Well, we're going to see it on Monday night when we come back to the Gridiron Girls. We're going to talk about some college football, and we're going to have the fun fact, but also the hard, cold facts on first. Who's in, who's out. College football playoffs, 1 week away from the first of 2 weeks. Rivalry games, championship games to find out who the foursome will be for the CFP. I'm Karleigh, she's Chelsea. I'm not Shauna. My hair doesn't look that good. She's Shauna.
Disagree.
Stay with us.
It's good though.
You normally are crabby as all get out about doing the corner, and now you call for a Kirby the Cat special report. Buddy, what's wrong?
I'm concerned about my college football team, Karleigh.
I know Southern had a rough weekend again. Lost 2 in a row. This time to Prairie View. 27-21. Yeah, you can kiss the SWAC championship game goodbye.
Yeah, I know. And Eric Dooley got fired right after the game. But that's not important right now. What is important, who the acting head coach is going to be for the Bayou Classic next week against Grambling.
Curb, who's it going to be?
It's going to be Sean Wallace. Boy, he was a cool cat as a player. All-American, all swag. He was the last line of defense and he was great at it. He's doing the same thing as coach of the safeties now. He's got a ton of energy. He's needed it the last few weeks.
Kirk, what's going on with Coach Wallace?
Well, last month he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. It ain't good, Karleigh.
Oof. Right about that.
But you know something? He's gotten his treatments and then gotten back and never missed a game. And I know he's up against it. So's his family. He's got a GoFundMe. The link is in the comments, so please click on that link. Give what you can for Coach. And though, I'm gonna call it a week early. Southern 26, Grambling 24. My cats are better than their cats. I'm just saying. Go Jaguars and go Coach Wallace. We're praying for you and we're with you, buddy.
Got that right, Kirk.
And welcome back to the Gridiron Girls podcast. I'm Karleigh Chardonnay Webb, along with Chelsea Poe and Shauna Atkinson, talking about some college football. And we're going to have there's a lot still to talk about because we're still pounding closer to the time when it's time to fish or cut bait. 5 teams with 10 wins, no defeats among that top 5. But before we get to that, Chelsea, what's this week's college football fun fact?
Okay, so we've talked kind of before about how there's all these turf issues in the NFL and how we really need to get away from turf. So there's something unique in college football.
We don't like turfs here. I think that's a fair point.
No turfs.
No.
Okay.
We don't like
natural,
turfs or
natural
turf.
only.
Yeah.
Natural only. So can either you name all the colored turfs in FBS that are not the traditional green?
Boise State comes to
Boise
mind.
State's probably one.
Boise State, that's one. Yes.
Eastern Washington?
Well, that's FCS, but I'll give you a bonus point for that.
Well, who else has color
Yeah, they have
turf
red.
besides Boise?
Do you guys not know?
I really don't know.
Okay, so Coastal Carolina has bright teal.
Really?
It's actually pretty okay. Yeah, I highly suggest let's have it pop up if possible. I think it looks pretty good. And then the absolute worst one is Eastern Michigan, so not that far from you, Shauna. It's gray. So when you watch any game on it, it looks like the entire game's in black and white, and it's absolutely awful.
Oh, this is very ugly. Why would you do that? It looks like you're playing on like pavement, like like I did in grade school, but it's actually do not like. What? And I also like, why is Eastern Michigan's field gray with like a very questioning capitalization to gray?
It's its own thing, I guess.
I just think it's weird. Personally, I like Eastern Washington. I love that red turf. I do love it. I think it's kind of cool.
Oh, that is very sharp.
So
see, that's sharp.
So there's two more. There's two more that I think are notable. Central Arkansas has one of the wildest fields. They have purple and gray rotating every 5 yards. And they're in FCS.
Really?
And then I think the absolute worst is State of New York University, Morrisville, is the latest program to embrace non-traditional turf. They decided to do an all-black field. And do you have any idea maybe how that wouldn't be the best idea when, you play in the middle of August in the sport? Or in the middle of September?
I'm not sure that would look great on TV. You better have good lights on that field. Not sure about that one, but now I'm just wondering.
There's a single.
How about maize and blue at the big house? Would you want that?
No, of course not. That's a really bad idea. I think maybe like how the NBA is doing for the tournaments where they're doing the brightly colored fields.
I think they're mostly pretty ugly, honestly.
Like,
I don't know.
I always kind of like one game. If you want to for one game, I think that's fine.
Oh, you're talking about
I'm okay with trying something different. And I actually am glad they tried it. I just think what they did was bad.
Very.
It doesn't mean trying is a bad thing, and they shouldn't try and get a better court next year. But like, I mean, I feel the way about most of the NBA city jerseys too. Like, I love an alternate jersey. Like, it's one of my favorite. Like, again, going back to the video game.
I want them to go back to the 1980s Cleveland the late 70s, early 80s Cavaliers jersey.
Yeah,
like
they should.
The Marquette like college stripes on the side. I like those.
When LeBron wore those in his first round.
Yes, exactly. But
they had that as one of their throwbacks. It was so sharp. But they did a yellow. The yellow one is my favorite, actually. There's a yellow one with the red.
But when I think of that, I don't think of LeBron's first season. I think of All-World Lloyd Free before he changed his name.
World Be Free.
Yeah, that's what I think of because two of my favorite players growing up were Cavaliers. I mean, now known as World Be Free and Campy Russell were two of my favorite players.
And
when I was a little
Campy
kid.
Russell's always on the Cavs broadcast team, so like he's always like doing like pregame stuff. So yeah, him and Austin Carr they're the two old timers. Like we always joke when we were watching. There's like the Austin Carrisms. Like if you get the game, well, you just have to get it within 10 points by this much time, and then you'll be good. Like he has a bunch. And he just has so many sayings. Like he doesn't. I think it's getting to be about. Like I want to see Brad Daugherty replace him in my perfect world. Like because I thought Brad Daugherty was a very good color commentator.
Here's your college football playoff standings for this week. And still wild in the front, Georgia.
Ohio State
Georgia's moved back up
about losing that first seed. They were like, we won by 35. Like it was really interesting to see on my Twitter this week. I'm still
I have a question.
Sure.
So, don't they say that mutual opponents are supposed to matter when they're rankings?
They do. They're supposed to, but it's like Wang Chung. It is whatever the committee wants it to be. That's the thing that a lot of people have to realize. Is that I don't
understand. I feel like there's a lot of dialogue that was Ohio State dominated Penn State, right? At home, they won by 8 points. I have only seen people be like, Michigan barely wins. And I felt that too. And they won by 9 points in Happy Valley. I don't understand how that... I mean, ultimately it doesn't really matter because in 2 weeks they're going to play each other.
They're going to... It's for all the money.
I mean, as long as neither gets tripped up, I don't think Maryland's going to be an issue. But I think ultimately it's going to be Georgia, the winner of Michigan, Ohio State.
Maryland lost to Northwestern, okay? You lost to Northwestern.
You never know.
Can we talk about...
And then it's going to be Florida State.
How about Northwestern beating Wisconsin? Yeah, I'm happy about that.
I hope it's out. Like... You know, speaking of the Shauna college football rankings, I think I think Michigan show me that why I should love them more if they're able to beat Ohio State. I'm just saying.
So they are America's team now. If you haven't heard,
I heard that rumor.
And I'm also going to declare. I'm going to declare on behalf of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. They're also Holland's team too. So
they're
two
Holland's
countries.
Team.
Good for them.
Yes.
They're a Holland's team. No, wait a minute. They're a Holland's team.
I have seen people with the block M here, I will say.
You should change your team name to Holland Dazed and Confused. That is all.
It's too late. It's too late.
It's never too late. You can always switch and win.
We have to rebrand everything in the stadium. We don't have the money right now.
Yeah, but also that college coach crying. Why was he crying like Jim Harbaugh was dead to him forever? It's so dramatic.
I mean, that was a Terrell Owens moment. That was.
I'm sorry, you're both dead inside and can't feel emotions.
No, don't put me in that.
Or showed emotion. I'm just like,
no.
Why was that?
Chelsea Poe, don't put me in that.
Crying?
It's emotional.
Don't put me in that. Don't put me in that because I understand.
There's real emotions, and it's okay to show your emotions. We have our quarterback meditating on the field, and we have our coach crying. We're a full emotional team, and it scares everyone, and they're scared.
I think that must be. I felt very scared of him crying because I was like, if he's gonna cry for beating Penn State, couldn't throw a touchdown, and also got their offensive coordinator fired. Speaking of,
That's crazy.
not only
Still,
Buffalo Bills, yeah. But I'm like, okay, what are they expecting to do? But anyways, but yeah. So in terms of my rooting, I think if Michigan can make a good showing against Ohio State, but likewise, I just can't rule out these. We were talking, like the historical leanings towards Alabama. I can't ever root against them, and so like there's still a part of me that wants to see them like beat Georgia and sneak into the top 4. I think that would be
wait, really? It runs that deep?
I think I would be very intrigued to see that happen. And I think.
So am I hearing this right? You would have no problem with Georgia getting to the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
And Alabama winning, and because the fact of the now here's the question. That's one thing. Here's the problem. Georgia has all their parts back. Brock Bowers got himself ready in 30 days. He's back.
That leg surgery
last week.
So that's what I'm saying. He's got to fight for my love.
Yes, I did.
Alabama has to fight for my love, and we'll see if they're able to get it from me. If they're able to face this very top-ranked Georgia team, I might have to consider it. And I'm not even saying I will, but I'd have to consider it.
And here's the thing.
You're a Bama fan.
We might get we have a chance of something that's very rare. We have a chance of a high school college football playoff type thing where 4 undefeated teams are there.
I want that. I think that's the most fair way.
I understand that you'd like to see that. I just don't know if we're gonna. I don't know.
I hope so. Like, it's clean. It's a good way to go out on the end of the 4-game playoff. Like, all undefeateds, all conference champions. It makes sense.
Here, so in other words, you think Ohio State, Michigan loser out? They would get shuffled out.
I mean, ideally, I think that's fine, but I think
that
you never know.
I think my best case scenario for the playoffs is it's Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, and then I think you get the rematch in the first round. Then I think that would be a really compelling and interesting narrative.
I'll put it this way:
I don't want Georgia. That's gonna be so bad. I genuinely believe that. I don't trust Georgia.
You really don't want Georgia. See, that's the thing. I don't think Georgia's fallible. And I'll say it. I don't think Georgia's a team. I don't think Georgia can win the national championship. I don't think they will. I don't see it. I think they will. Now, the team who I don't think they do. I think the interesting thing about this college football playoff could be is that there's a team I can beat this team here, but I'm not sure if they can beat this team here. Because I'll tell you, the one team I think could scare Georgia is the teams on the outside looking in. That's Washington. For one simple reason.
I don't know about that.
The livest arm in the nation plays for Washington. And I even think Washington may not get there because
I don't know about that.
Because they're standing with Oregon, because they got Oregon standing in the way. I'll tell you, this is an interesting year.
Also, Oregon State this week. Oregon State's favored
to beat Washington.
Yes. I found out an hour ago. It blew my mind. I'm like,
somebody. I will tell you right now, the Beavers are a good team. They're going to push Washington. But if you bet Oregon State, be prepared to lose your money. Be prepared to lose your money. I think there's only one team in Oregon that's beating Washington. That's Oregon. Now, I have a proposal to any bowl that's played between December 17th and Christmas Day. Do whatever you have to do, but lobby the NCAA to give James Madison an exemption if they go 12-0. And if James Madison and Liberty go 12-0, there's your bowl game. There's your bowl game. For a minor bowl, pre-Christmas, that's a ratings bonanza.
No, I think
you can
that
sell
needs
that
to
game.
be in Dallas, AT&T Stadium. No, give them both, because they honestly both earned it. I think that's how you need to treat this if there's not an open playoff spot. And I don't think there's going to be an open playoff spot because we haven't seen any of these big upsets happen. It's been every week where it's been close, and then the favorite team's always pulled away.
But I'd love to see a lower tier bowl say if this is open, we'll open up the cat. We will do whatever it takes to get this game. This is how we got to a real national championship game. In many ways, this is how we got here. Because in 1986, you had two teams that were independents but unbeaten, and the Fiesta Bowl slid right in and said, "Miami, Penn State, let's play for a national title." That's how the Fiesta Bowl built itself. This is an opportunity for someone.
I didn't realize that was how the Fiesta Bowl became synonymous with the national championship in that way.
Yes,
Interesting.
because they were able to and I think even in a smaller scale for a bowl like the R&L Carriers Bowl, this is a no-brainer because nobody's watching your game. If you have Eastern Michigan against Troy, no one's watching your game.
I mean, I am.
I know
tweeting
because
the sickos
you're a college
on
football
Twitter.
nerd.
But you watch,
yeah.
but you watch 8 games on a Tuesday. Just a note to the person that tried to step to Chelsea Poe on Twitter. Understand, she's going to forget more about college football than you're going to learn. And if you want to, if you want to step to us on the NFL, Shauna's going to forget more about the NFL, and you're going to learn. Just
I
so
will
you know.
forget it because I have a lot of ADHD and poor short-term memory.
He was like, I hate when women don't know college who don't watch the games. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, I can show you how many games I watched this year. So I total it up. I think it's like 177 so far.
Shut the fuck up.
So you watched 177 college games.
Yes. So I record all of
so
them.
In other words,
I can always have them in the background when I'm camming because there is a lot of downtime when camming, just waiting for clients and shit. So I'll have that going. If there's a game on, I'll usually have it on at least for part and be checking in on it. And then on Saturdays, I'm doing the 4 games at a time. And then there's, 3-4 time slots. And then you have Pac-12 after dark. And then I usually check it on the Hawaii game because it's 1 a.m. and there's a game going on.
So and he was like, you watch as many games
but
as Jimbo,
he was like,
you watch as many games as Jimbo Fisher got buyouts.
Yeah. Yeah. So the guy was like, yeah, I really keep up with it. I'm like, how many games do you watch? And he's like, like 2 a week. I'm like, sweetie, you should probably watch more.
Yeah, you should. Oh, by the way, if you want to watch more games, ask Jimbo Fisher to buy you a TV. He could buy a lot of people a TV. $77 million buyout? Really? Really?
Do you know how much per day he's getting?
How much per day is
$26,000. $26,000 per day.
Wow. You can eat pretty good on a per diem of $26,000.
It's wild.
But that's what gets me
to not do something.
He got like 10 times the bigger buyout than Kevin Summerlin did and won 4 fewer games. So who's the next coach at Texas A&M? Who will it be? Who will it be?
I have no idea, honestly. They're going to throw a bunch of money at someone. I mean, maybe Lane Kiffin.
Do they have any money left? I mean, do they have any money left?
Find some. I think they're going to find some however they need to. I feel like Shutdown Fullcast has gone into this
Johnny Manziel could do an autograph show for it.
This. I feel like Texas A&M is the most likely to align with the Saudis and take their oil money. So I think that could very well happen, and I think they're going to find the money however they need to.
Wow, so let me get this right. Texas A&M is going to dip into the Saudi investment fund.
Yeah, for their whole cult built around that dog.
Fazil Al-Fad bin Abdullah Al-Saad. There's some people in College Station who may want to talk to you. Quick note on our way out. There is a number of coaches who are now on the hot. We're at hot seat season. There's one coach I do want to get your take on going out, both of you. James Franklin, Penn State, on the hot seat?
No, he's going to make the playoff next year. No, I mean, everything's going to shift next year with the 12-team playoff. Penn State's definitely a playoff team. So
True.
it's all perspective.
So in other words, all you people in State College going after Coach Franklin, stay patient. When we come back,
Also, you
the
made
final-
Michigan look bad.
I mean, they don't need a lot of help with that. I think Connor Stallions did a pretty good job of that there at Chelsea.
First off, it's established we're all Connor Stallions, so you can't say that.
The Cheetos
But-
and best. Oops.
Haters.
We are not. But when we come back to the Gridiron Girls final call, and one of the things we're going to be talking about is the Tears of Michigan that we saw last week. But first, it's Kirby's Corner.
Karma is my kitty cat, giving those picks to me.
You're a Swiftie now, Karleigh? Really? Anyway, saw that the Bengals lost and Joe Burrow got hurt again, 34-20 to the Ravens. The Bengals are screwed, just like your fantasy team.
Thanks a lot, Curb.
You're welcome. Anyway, on to the picks. Lions, Bears, it'll be a walkover. Justin Fields doesn't believe in the Bears don't believe in him. Gotta believe in Jared Goff. Lions 38-7. Jaguars, Titans, my cool cats in the AFC. Yep, they're gonna get it done. Don't sleep on them. 35-24 Jaguars do it. Now the Panthers. Can it get any worse? They're gonna lose to the Cowboys this week, 37-17. Better hope CD Lamb has a good game to help your fantasy team out. Oh, I'm gonna pick that Monday night game. It's a bonus pick. That's right, Monday night. Eagles Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch, another Kelsey Bowl. Taylor Swift at the game. Eagles win 27-23. Sorry, Travis, you lose this one, but look at who you get to go home to. Oh, and I got a few more picks for you. Shauna and Karleigh in a doubleheader. First, the fantasy teams go at it. Runs and throws or whatever they're called. And what are they? Throws and runs is gonna win it. 124-123. And the Browns are gonna beat your Steelers 17-14.
Really? Can't be nice to me just once?
I'll throw you a bone. I really like what Northwestern's done, Karleigh. They beat Wisconsin last week. They'll beat Purdue this week. They'll beat Illinois next week, so they can be bowl eligible. Northwestern 23, Purdue 12.
Oh, Curb. Thanks.
Whatever. Go Cats.
It took a little bit of time, but Kirby, you're coming around. Kirby, a Northwestern Wildcat. Didn't think it would happen, but it did happen. Thank you, Curb. Love you, kitty. And now, the last call. And Shauna, what you got?
So, in the latest drama in trans women playing sports that they love, a trans woman was playing pool and her opponent decided to forfeit instead of facing her because she had the audacity to be a woman of trans experience. And it's so ridiculous. I think this situation, if not more than any other, is one of the best examples of it's just bigotry. It's just you're coming into it with prejudice of trans women being different from you and wanting them nowhere near your sport and in your community. And at the end of the day, I just think that's such a fucking shame. And what are we doing here? If you can't claim what I assure you, my history with geometry does not give me any sort of predisposition towards pool because I was very bad at geometry. But I think that's the silly thing about it. It's clearly just prejudice. And I think the sooner I think it's starting to turn where you're seeing a lot, Martina Navratilova has been very, she's had a couple recent where it's okay, you're obviously just prejudiced against trans women, in a very obvious way. I think so many of them try to play as though, I'm not, how could I be transphobic? And it's okay, you obviously are, that is clearly the core of your issue, that it doesn't matter if there's an advantage because you don't see us as who we are. And what can we do about that? There's nothing I can do to convince you if you're already going with your mind made up. And so I just think it's some bullshit.
all I can say is I'm glad that the governing body of this tournament said, okay, well, bye.
Like,
And I
okay,
think
like,
and governing bodies of like every version of table games like pool, snooker, billiards, they've all basically ruled on this, and they said, you know what? We've met international standards, and we don't see the advantage. So guess what? You got two choices. You either break or pack up your cue and go home. And I kind of like that. Chelsea, your final call. What you got?
So the wildness that has been Michigan press conferences this week. We all obviously touched on this before. Sherrone Moore's tear-filled post-game conference featuring, I want to thank the Lord. I want to thank Coach Harbaugh. I fucking love you, man. I love the fucking shit out of you, man. Very, like, kind of late night, kind of bar sort of vibe. Also, there was no apology after it by, like, the Fox team. I was like, oh my God, he's swearing so much on camera. And I think the tears distracted everyone from that. And then we had, did you see the photos of Blake Corum after the game?
What do they look like?
He looked like he went like 5 rounds with Khabib in the UFC. Completely bloodied. It was like he busted between his eyes here. There was blood running everywhere. Just completely brutal. I mean, I guess that's what happens when you run every single offensive play for a half of football.
I couldn't believe that. I was like,
And-
wait, I hadn't, because I was, like I said, I had watched that game and I was like, what are you talking, why are they not, like, they just decided not to throw the ball and it worked. And I'm like, college football is so weird in that way. I mean, it happens in the pros too, but like, it's such a, I feel like that's a very, like, they're just like, we're good.
I mean, that's what Bo would want, though.
I think so. That's true.
Yeah. So then I'm assuming you guys did not see the Jim Harbaugh press conference this week.
I saw snippets of it and I saw that it was weird, but Jim Harbaugh is very weird.
So he said his stance on chickens being nervous birds have changed after he got some chickens during the pandemic. He said, quote, "The respect I have for chickens. There was a time when I said chicken was a nervous bird. I was dead wrong. Chickens are low maintenance and high production. They're a very high producing animal." And then someone was like, "Oh, so you're going to court this week?" I like how he brought this up before being like, "Oh yeah, I have a court case this week." And he said, "I'm not really that concerned. I watched a lot of shows. I watched Judge Judy a lot. I'm a big fan of the Judge Judy show. You lie in Judge Judy's courtroom, it's over. Your credibility is completely lost and you stand no chance of winning the case." I learned that from her. It's very powerful and true. If someone lies to you, how do you know how to trust them? So ESPN reached out to Judge Judy today and they're like, didn't get anything from her. She didn't want to comment, but her rep is like, he plays a great game of gin and they had a really great time together and he's a really great guy. And he was very excited to meet Judy. He also said, we got to be America's team. America loves a team that beats the odds, beats the adversity, overcomes the naysayers, critics, and so-called experts. That's my favorite kind of team.
That's what I saw was the America's team, which, like, okay, good for you. But also, he changed his stance on chickens. I'm still very shocked.
I mean,
that was something we've talked about for years. Going back to when we first started podcasting together, like, I remember you telling us about how chickens are a nervous.
Well, he evolved, and I think that's a really important thing in a leader. And so, big thing for Michigan football this week. Obviously, the biggest game this season is going to be next week against Ohio State. I can say it because I don't have a curse that is unleashed if I say Ohio State. Like some people in this rivalry who are like, Michigan. I can't say the word Michigan.
Yeah, that they always have to write an X over it. It's the weirdest fucking thing. Ohio State fans are so weird. But like, yeah,
we're
I just
really
think
in your head.
It's pronounced Zishigan.
So
okay,
we're going
explain
for win.
That one. Zishigan?
Yeah, with an X. Xichigan.
Yeah, with an X.
Zishigan.
Oh,
so Michigan is going for the first team on any level of football to reach 1,000 wins this weekend against Maryland. I think that's a really big accomplishment. It really needs to be celebrated, no matter if it's Sharon Moore coaching or Jim Harbaugh. I think Sharon Moore did a great job, and if he has to coach the rest of the regular season, I'm honestly not that concerned. I think, I guess it makes sense that this was their worst game of the year against their best ranked team. It makes sense, but I'm very disappointed that they had their worst both offensive and defensive performance this last week, and luckily got a win because Penn State literally cannot move the football at all.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about next week?
Against Maryland?
No, against Ohio State. Assuming a victory against Maryland, how are you feeling going into the possibility of the big game?
I have started looking at the weather already, so if it snows, not even close. I think Jim's going to coach the game. I think stuff's going to go right in court this next week. I think he'll be back by then. If it is Sharon Moore, there is some concerns, but I think Michigan should be able to beat them. I think their team is just very united behind this now, and I feel like this team didn't really have a narrative to kind of overcome. And I think this has really done it, especially in the way they did it, where they suspended him the day before when he was on a plane. It's really sketchy.
Well, my feeling is that Jim Harbaugh let the punishment fit the crime. I don't think the punishment is worth a 3-game suspension. I don't think it's worth all this Drummond-Trang. Fine him, let him coach against Ohio State. Let's go on with life.
Yeah.
But my final call this week is, as we said earlier, it is Trans Awareness Week. And I say often on Trans Awareness Week that why do we need a Trans Awareness Week when the people who really dislike trans people, they're pretty aware that we're here.
Yeah, awareness is notably not our problem. I think people have got a good idea of us, or at least they think they do.
People know, especially, people know, especially 9 GOP governors, including some of the most publicly anti-LGBTQ figures in our body politic. Texas's Greg Abbott, Arkansas's Sarah Huckabee Sanders, South Dakota's Kristi Noem, Missouri's Mike Parsons, Mississippi's Tate Reeves, Oklahoma's Kevin Stitt, Montana's Greg Gianforte, Nevada's Joe Lombardo, and Wyoming's Mark Gordon. Now, what did these 9 people have in common? Well, they signed a letter back on October 30th calling for a person who used to be a part of their group, Charlie Baker, former Republican governor of Massachusetts, now the head of the NCAA, and they're imploring him to ban transgender women from women's collegiate athletics. Now, the push for this came from the NCAA, who made changes in their trans inclusion policy in the last year. Here's the thing. The NCAA this year was supposed to said that they were going to institute a policy where eligibility would hinge on what are the rules of the national and or world governing bodies in a given sport. The NCAA decided to delay that implementation until next year to more study the issue and also look at ways that transgender women especially can still be a part of sports. They were thinking more towards maintaining the inclusion that the NCAA has held as policy since 2011. Well, that by not implementing that, it still opens the door to a transgender woman competing as the woman she is in collegiate sports, which is something these 9 governors and the people who care and feed them don't want. Now, here's where it got interesting. At the beginning of this year, a transgender woman, student athlete at NCAA Division III Roanoke, Virginia College, petitioned at the start of the academic year to swim for the women's team in the upcoming year. This student was not named by college officials, but it was confirmed that the student in their freshman year had swam for the men's team. They took a year off to meet the NCAA requirements. You have to be on hormone replacement therapy for at least 1 year. And then they came back and said, I'm moving forward in my transition. I want to have the opportunity to swim for the women's team. Now, the officials went to the members of the team, and there were members of the team who said, we're not like this, we're not for it, we oppose it. So the school went back. After hearing all this, the student athlete in question decided to withdraw their petition. They had stated that they didn't want to be a part of any further drama. And given that they probably saw what happened to Leah Thomas, who could blame them?
Absolutely.
So the school has decided to institute the upcoming policy for the NCAA, which would start next year now. That was their decision. They decided to implement the next phase of the NCAA policy immediately. End of the discussion? Not exactly. 2 days later, the 10 members of the Roanoke women's swim team held a news conference off campus. School didn't know about it. Athletic department didn't know about it. But look who shows up. America's spoil sport. Certain swimmer from the University of Kentucky who's still selling the same lies after 18 months. She showed up, and so did the Independent Women, the Independent Council on Women's Sports, or as I like to call them, Karens Against Women's Sports, the Independent Women's Forum, which is really a conservative group. They're not independent. Don't let them lie to you. And even 2 days after they got what they wanted, they still have to show how transphobic they are. And
it's prejudice. It's just pure bigotry and prejudice. That's all there is to it.
But it all goes back to and they all mention the same thing. Charlie Baker is weak. Charlie Baker should do something about this. Here's the thing about Charlie Baker. Charlie Baker was the Republican governor of Massachusetts. Ideologically and politically, he's poles apart from these 9. Poles apart. He is not the same. We're talking about a guy who supported and signed a transgender anti-discrimination bill in Massachusetts in 2016. We're talking about a Republican governor who supported marriage equality. One of the few Republicans who not only supported it, but also signed it into law. And oh, by the way, the anti-discrimination bill that he signed, many of the same groups that are now making Leah Thomas, for example, a piñata, were the same groups that not even when the ink dried on his signature in 2016, immediately called for a ballot referendum on that law that voters went to the polls to decide upon in 2018. Massachusetts voters overwhelmingly affirmed the law at the polls. And full disclosure, I helped build ads for the no side of that law to affirm it, for the no side of the repeal, rather. And it was some of the proudest work I've done in my life. Charlie Baker has taken a lot of hits on this, and the NCAA will continue to take more, And the NCAA next year will go with the world governing bodies in a number of sports, which means another CC Telfer will never happen. Another Leah Thomas will never happen because swimming and track and field have banned them. This is an example of what happens when governing bodies who claim to be for inclusion cave to pressure. And on the other side, there's the governing bodies of pool, billiards, snooker, and a number of other sports, which Shauna talked about in her final call, which didn't cave to pressure, which are saying, these are our rules. We stand for inclusion. These are standards. This particular athlete, who happens to be a woman of trans experience, has met our standards. You either compete or you go home. Or like the Vermont Principals Association earlier this year, when an evangelical Christian school said, we're not going to play against that team because they have a biological male on it. That school said, no, you're not going to misgender someone else's child. You are not going to have a hissy fit. Since you want to forfeit against the school in a state tournament, I'll tell you what you do. You forfeit everything. You're not welcome back to play, period. If governing bodies are really about inclusion, That's what they need to do. And trust me, we as transgender people in sports and outside, we're quite aware if you don't. And that's the Gridiron Girls this week. Gotta say, I had a lot of fun with it. We're gonna have a lot of fun next week for our Thanksgiving special, where we're hoping to bring in a cast of thousands, including a surprise guest. But let me tell you something. We're very thankful that you spent your time with us the last 12 weeks, and there's a lot more to come. So if there's something you want to see, something you want to say, and want to give us a comment about how we're doing, comment section underneath here on YouTube, or comment sections on Twitter and Instagram. Please leave a note. Let us know what you're thinking, and let us know what you want to see, because everything that we do here at the Gridiron Girls, we do it for all of you, the people who support us, and we love that you support us. That's the Gridiron Girls for this week. I'm Karleigh Chardonnay Webb.
I'm Chelsea Poe.
And I'm Shauna Atkinson.
Enjoy the games, everybody. We'll see you next week. It's Turkey Day after all.
Bye.